Superhero movies are in such an interesting spot right now. Are audiences actually tired of superhero movies, or is it just the bad ones they don't care about? And the results keep confusing people. Okay, so Captain America Brave New World didn't make a ton of money, but hey, it wasn't that good, so that doesn't count towards fatigue, right? But then you get Thunderbolts, which is well received, that didn't even make as much money as that one, but it's like, oh, okay, those are C-list characters, those never gonna be that big, so that doesn't count either. And now, arguably, we have the biggest test of superhero fatigue with Superman, a hero that is so incredibly iconic, yet people my generation largely don't have that deep a relationship with. Example, my mom loves Superman. He is her favorite superhero ever. Meanwhile, I cannot find even one person to be my +1 to the screening. Is he a boring character because he's damn near invincible, or like what is the problem? And then that's not even talking about the whole Zack Snyder universe and its fans there. It feels like a bit of a jumbled mess for someone so iconic. So now, all eyes turn to James Gunn as he restarts the DC universe with his own directorial effort in Superman. And personally, I've fluctuated on how I have felt about this. In the beginning of the year, I was excited about it. But admittedly, as more trailers and footage started to get shown, I did get a little more nervous about it. Well, I had a chance to see Superman, and I'm a little conflicted on it. I cannot lie. It is a bit of a mixed bag. I need everyone to relax, first of all. Let's all take a deep breath and remember that we are all going to die eventually, and nothing really matters like that, okay? All right, let's get into it now. This is a movie where I fully believe that James Gunn understands what makes Superman great and or what makes him compelling on screen. I see it. And it can all be so simple. Something we have lost in the superhero genre as the stakes have gone to an astronomically insane level is interactions with civilians. And seeing Superman, especially in that first act, save civilians just brought a warmth to my cold heart. No spoilers, okay? I promise. But he does save a squirrel. Saves a squirrel. That's my Superman right there. And I guess I should have said off the top, I am not a Superman fanatic. I did not read any Superman comics. I can't say I know a lot of lore outside of the basic stuff. So I'm not coming into this movie with some microscopic lens being like, he would never do that. That is against his character. I know how to have some fun at least. And the only reason I mention that is because I've seen a lot of talk online with this movie as two warring fan bases continue to fight each other. So I'm no expert in terms of what Superman is or isn't. What I will say is I do like that in this movie, Superman kind of gets his ass beat. He gets beat up, thrown around, just sometimes bent over, a big old spanking. But I'm trying to think, who wouldn't like that? Do we just want to see Superman destroy people and his only weakness is a little kryptonite? Like, that is so boring to me. So I like that he gets into legitimate fights with people where he's getting thrown around a little bit. And that goes to the push-pull element of Superman, whereas one side is being a human, while the other side is being this weird alien godlike figure. That has always been one of the more interesting aspects of Superman, and I feel like by the end of this movie, his character feels earned. James Gunn and David Corenswet, who I'll get to in a second, brings such a humanizing element to Superman that it actually did kind of surprise me. With his relationship to Lois, his quick interactions with his parents, him saving civilians, his monologues, it all brings that warmth. It kind of manages to massage the audience into eventually not seeing Superman as this insane godlike figure 24/7. Because again, who the hell wants that? We do want some level of either relatability or like, man, we are really rooting for him. And I think that's why David Corenswet's casting is such a good choice. He does an excellent job kind of straddling the two lines. Young and sprightly while also seeming a little naive and too trusting. It's just excellent. And Rachel Brosnahan, I don't know. I just like you. So the best thing about this movie is I did like the character of Superman, and I think this movie does have a beating heart, which is a theme throughout most of James Gunn's comic book movies. But I just wish that beating heart was surrounded by things that were a little better, because some things I'm like, Jesus, what are we doing? That thrill of the first act just slowly dissipates throughout the rest of the movie, because as it progresses, this story is so incredibly bloated. Some have said this movie feels like a Saturday morning cartoon, and most of the time they mean that in a good way, and I understand that sentiment. But I'll admit, sometimes when I'm stepping into a movie theater, I'm not exactly trying to get that feeling all the time. You know, sometimes I do want something a little more hard-hitting, a little more cinematic, because in what is not that long of a movie, we go through what feels like 10 different storylines with so many different characters, and we can't spend a lot of time on each one. We don't get a chance to hone in on a few things and really just make them great. Like the Justice Gang, I don't know. Why are they here? I mean, Mr. Terrific's cool. What was even the point of Hot Girl? What was the point? What does she do? What's the introduction here? And again, without spoiling anything, there's a kind of prison sequence that we stayed in for so long, and I felt like the momentum just completely stopped for me personally, because that was the first time that movie that I did feel the inevitability of Superman. Meaning, I was just waiting for Superman to do Superman things. For the first time up to that point, that's where the first thought came into my head of Superman is a god. We know this isn't going to happen. We know he's not actually in peril. And the stakes were just completely gone for me. And that is what really bummed me out. Because even when we do get into huge stakes and the world is threatened, even Lois and the whole gang on the Daily Planet is just chilling. They're so blasé about it. They're just like, okay, yeah, we're chill, we're okay. So then as an audience member, like, why should I feel threatened as well? My main concerns on Superman watching the trailers were A, that it was just going to be a bit too much with the characters and the story, and B, the visuals. And after seeing the movie, it kind of feels justified. Some of it just looks a little awkward. It does have some moments of looking like The Flash, especially during certain flying sequences or scenes where Superman is just destroying everybody and it's all CGI, and it has this weird, like, rubbery look to it that I don't know why that's a thing. And it does not bring me joy talking about this, okay? I know the whole color grading and the visuals of it have already been picked apart to death on Twitter, online. I'm not trying to add to it. All I'm saying is, why does it look like that, though? I really don't know what this means for DC. I fully expect this to make lots of money, and I think general audiences will have a good enough time. That's not really the main question. The real question is, are people going to be excited moving forward in this new DC universe? Let me know in the comments what you think. But for me, Superman, 3 stars. It has enough in here that I guess I'm more curious than anything. Consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.